The younger son, already a grown man well past 18, stood before his father with a confidence that bordered on defiance, his voice steady as he demanded his share of the inheritance. The words hung in the air like a blade, cutting deeply into the father's heart, for he understood the meaning behind them. His son no longer wished to live under his care or authority. Pain washed over the father in silence, a grief too heavy for anger, as he realized that love could not be forced to stay. The son's request was bold, even shocking, driven by an impatient hunger for independence and a belief that life would be richer beyond the walls of home. Yet the father did not raise his voice or close his hands in refusal. Instead, with eyes clouded by sorrow and a heart aching with loss, he chose love over control. He divided his estate and placed the inheritance into his son's hands, fully aware that this gift might lead him into suffering. In that quiet act, the father revealed a love willing to break itself open, allowing his son the freedom to leave, even while his own heart stood fractured and waiting. After leaving his father's house, the younger son traveled far from everything familiar, driven by a fierce desire for independence and pleasure. In a distant land, free from restraint and responsibility, he embraced a life of reckless indulgence. His inheritance, once a symbol of security, quickly became fuel for excess. He spent lavishly, chasing fleeting pleasures, surrounding himself with distractions that promised joy but delivered only emptiness. Days blurred into nights as his wealth slipped through his hands, wasted on temporary satisfaction and shallow relationships. With every careless choice, he drifted further from the values he had been taught and further from his own sense of purpose. Time, like his money, was squandered without thought for the future. Slowly, his abundance vanished, leaving behind not freedom, but isolation. When a severe famine struck the land, the illusion of independence collapsed completely. Friends disappeared, opportunities faded, and hunger took hold of both his body and spirit. The son, once confident and proud, found himself stripped of dignity and direction. What he believed would bring fulfillment instead exposed his vulnerability, revealing the cost of a life built on impulse rather than wisdom. This phase of his journey marks the gradual erosion of his soul, as pleasure gives way to poverty and self-indulgence turns into deep regret. When the famine tightened its grip on the land, the younger son's situation grew desperate. With no money left and no one willing to help him, hunger drove him to accept work that stripped away the last remnants of his dignity. He was sent to feed pigs in muddy fields, a task that emphasized how far he had fallen from the life he once knew. Covered in filth and exhaustion, he became physically weakened and spiritually broken, forgotten by those around him. Each day, he watched the animals eat and felt a burning ache in his stomach, longing even for the scraps in the feeding trough. Yet no one offered him anything. Isolation deepened his suffering, and silence replaced the noise of his former pleasures. In that lonely place, he confronted the full weight of his choices. Pride dissolved into shame, and independence turned into helplessness. The man who once believed he needed no one now faced survival itself as a struggle. This moment marked the absolute bottom of his journey, where loss, hunger, and humiliation revealed the true cost of his rebellion. Only in this depth of despair did the possibility of change begin to emerge, as his suffering forced him to see himself clearly for the first time. In the depths of his misery, the younger son finally came to his senses. As hunger and loneliness weighed heavily upon him, a memory of home stirred within his heart. He remembered his father's kindness and the security he had once taken for granted. With painful clarity, he realized that even the lowest servants in his father's household were well fed, while he, a son, was slowly starving in a foreign land. This realization broke through his pride and awakened a deep sense of remorse. He acknowledged his failure, recognizing that his actions had not only ruined his life, but had also wounded the one who loved him most. Though shame filled his soul, hope quietly began to rise. Gathering what little strength he had left, he resolved to return home, not as a son demanding rights, but as a humbled man seeking mercy. He rehearsed his confession, admitting his sin and accepting that he no longer deserved the title of son. His only request would be to live as a hired servant, grateful for survival rather than privilege. This turning point marked the rebirth of humility within him, as repentance replaced rebellion and the long journey home began. While the son was still a long way off, weak and broken from his journey, his father saw him approaching along the road. He had been watching and waiting, holding hope in his heart every single day. The moment recognition came, the father did not hesitate. Moved by deep compassion, he ran toward his son, ignoring his age, his dignity, and the years of pain. Before the son could finish his carefully prepared confession, the father wrapped him in a warm and powerful embrace. There were no accusations, no punishment, and no rejection, only forgiveness freely given. The filth, shame, and failure that covered the son were overshadowed by the father's overwhelming love. What the son expected to be a moment of judgment became a moment of restoration. The father's actions revealed a love that had never faded, even during separation. This final scene completes the journey of loss and return, showing that grace is greater than failure and mercy stronger than regret. Through the father's joyful acceptance, the story reaches its true meaning. No matter how far one may fall, genuine repentance is always met with open arms and unending love.